What's up, Carly, JR, Loken? Get started in just a moment as we get our guests up here. All right, invites sent up. Got a couple up here already. NFT Draft, Pixagon, Mike Cady from Novo Pangea, and we'll wait for Joshua to come on up as well. We can get started right now with the guests we have here. We have a couple more guests waiting to arrive, and so let's just go ahead and kick this off. Hey, Christella, let's invite you up here too. Everybody's mics working okay?
Yep.
Perfect.
Hi,
Yeah, good to go.
All right, that sounds like a resounding yes from everybody. Let's go ahead and kick this off. I did schedule a little extra time if we go over, so let's hang out and chill today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good citizens of the Waxtopia. I am Dami from Wax. Today I'm joined by some game and project representatives who have been hard at work building during these leaner times. This space has seen its ups and downs over the past month, kind of reminds me of last year. And while change is the only thing that will remain constant, I am positively enthused, and I'm sure that the strong community we have built here around Wax will endure come what may. So for the next hour or so, let's sit back. We'll hear from a couple different people who are working hard to continue delivering product updates and new experiences for our enduring community. Now, some of these guests I've invited directly, and we may have some additional speakers join a little bit after we get started. So if you're building a game on the blockchain or you have developed a new type of fun product on Wax and want to share, stick around and I'll invite some of those in the audience to join on the stage a little bit later. All right, so first, is there anyone who'd like to go first? I've got a couple questions here I'm going to ask to every speaker. We'll do 2 speakers and then pause for AMA breaks from everyone in the audience so that we don't have everyone wait until all the way to the end, till all the talking's done to ask questions. So we'll do 2 and then break, and then 2 and then break, and we'll go from there. Does anybody want to speak first? Pixagon, all right.
I can go.
Why don't you go ahead, Pixagon?
Yeah, so I'm Stupid Games, or Anders from Pixagon. And we just last Friday we released Dread Wager, Pixial Dread Wager, which is a little free-to-play roguelike or roguelite twin stick shooter. You also have 2 other games, Pixial and Kuma's Fruit Fields, which both are for Pixagon Micro, and we are also working on an app called Pixagon Prism.
Awesome. And Anders, you're the main developer of the Pixagon lineup, correct?
Yes, main developer and CEO, I guess, and everything, sort of.
I think a lot of us wear a lot of different hats in our communities and on the projects we work on, so I can relate to that. Dread Wager, man, you really surprised me last weekend. So I was just gonna say, hats off. That was such a fun game to play and try out. Obviously, I want to ask more about Dread Wager, but I don't want to strong arm you into giving away all the details too soon. But what kind of next big updates can we kind of expect along that game and along the other products in the Pixagon portfolio?
Well, for Dread Wager, we kind of just barely started with the first version, so there's a lot more coming to that. We're gonna make so you have like new game plus modes. We're gonna unveil more of the story because there's more of a story. Tonight we're going to drop skins which are NFT based. So there's going to be one Pixagon related one called Paxial, and then there's also going to be one from The Last Judgment, by John from Token Girls, and one from Quack Smack Stacks from Ducking Fuss. And in terms of further updates, we're going to do updates on every project we have now, quite fast as well. So yeah, get in the loop.
So my next question is just like, what about your product is unique? What does it do better than any other project out there? Can I, before you answer, can I comment? The first thing I'm got Dread Wager on the mind, right? So forgive me if that's what I'm kind of focused on. Can you tell me like the marketing campaign with the tweets and the cryptic messaging? That was really, really cool, and I thought it was really fun to see. Will there be more stuff like that? Is there like, do you want to talk more about like the marketing plans and how that was kind of set up? I thought that was cool. It definitely got me interested. I didn't know what the hell was happening, and then all of a sudden, boom, slapped me in the face with a game. It was like I said, last week was really cool. Sorry, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, thank you. So all the cryptic messages and stuff, that's kind of based on the whole Pixagon universe, because pretty much everything that we do is connected in a big way. So all the cryptic messages and text and stuff, that's the written language of one of the peoples in the Pixagon universe. So you're for sure going to see more of that. And the marketing campaign, if you would call it that, was kind of very quickly made, but very heavily based on the story. Actually, the whole game was made in less than 2 weeks. We started Monday 2 weeks ago. So yeah, we're for sure going to do way more of that going forward.
Kuma, I saw you raise your hand when I asked about the marketing. Is there something you wanted to add to that question? I know that you're help with their team as well. Kuma, welcome.
What's up, guys? What's going on, everybody? Happy gamer chill space. What's good to all the Wax fam below? Yeah, man. No, I mean, yeah, obviously we were kind of having fun with it lately, and that's kind of just where we took it to recently. Everyone has seen the kind of the jarring draw on this space as far as kind of just not really getting out of it what we might have hoped to have when we first got here. So at a point where we said, screw an announcement, screw this, screw it, you know what I mean? Like we just took a whole different direction. Anders had whipped it up and cooked up the game, and we just kind of pushed it and having fun. So yeah, I think that was for us, or at least for me personally, like being on the team, it was a good experience of just having fun with the marketing. So it was like, instead of just dry, like, oh, hey, here's a drop, here's a date, here's a this, we wanted to have fun. We told a story, we played with people, we tried to kind of get people excited for what we had behind Dread Wager. So I don't know. Yeah, I think just kind of having fun sometimes with the marketing, it's almost shocking how much of results that you can get through it.
Yeah, like I said, it caught my attention right away. First the time I saw it, I'm like, oh, is somebody posting a weird scam? No, this looks like something else. And then I started seeing everybody else post, and I'm like, all right, I'm obviously on the outside. Like, so how do I get to know more? Having fun with it. I don't know, man. It was it worked on me. I'll give you that. It worked on me. Hats off to you guys.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, definitely appreciate it. Much love for the shout out. The Wydra stuff for me is always exciting. Anything the hieroglyphic based, or what I mean. I'm a big Star Wars nerd, so like just the depth that Pixagon has to it, with even having its own language, and really just really like layers and layers that you could constantly peel back. It's huge for me just as a fan of content. So I know that it's definitely something I want to kind of pull off on any content that I'm a part of. But yeah, no, appreciate it, dude. I don't want to take up too much time here. I know we got a bunch of people up. But yeah, appreciate it. What's up, Anders? Yeah, everyone prepare for the skins tonight. Those will be pretty fun. And yeah, peace out, guys. Everyone have a good day.
Thanks, Kuma. You have a good rest of the day too. All right, Anders, I've only got 2 questions left, and then we'll go to our next guest, and then we'll pause for an AMA. What's the primary place for new listeners or old to figure out and learn the latest updates for what you're making? What's the best place for them to go?
Discord is our main platform, but then X is probably where you will hear the most stuff, I think. So yeah, X and Discord.
All right, XM and Discord, perfect. And then I think you kind of alluded to a lot of updates happening on a lot of the other IPs. what is next? Is there anything you want to hint at beyond Dreadwager or the updates that are coming soon to the games?
I think we're going to the high score stuff that you saw in Dredgewager. We're going to bring that over to all the other games. Pixel is going to get a rather big and beefy update finally. And then there's of course Anima, which is going to be sort of our big Pokemon 2D top-down RPG. And then we have 2 games, maybe 3, coming from other creators as well. So I think there's just a bunch of stuff happening. And of course Pixagon Prism, which hopefully is going to be the main place where you will learn about Pixagon stuff, and as well as other NFT stuff.
Very cool. I just want to say thank you so much for joining, for sharing, for dropping that game on me last weekend. It was definitely something kept me busy over the weekend. Thank you so much. Stick around in the space if you can. We'll have an AMA for our audience in a few minutes for you and our next guest.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, of course. All right, let me go ahead and do we have anyone who wants to go next, or will I start calling on someone? Oh, Mike, you got your hand up. Come on up. Oh,
Yep.
You're already up. All right,
Thank
Mike.
you so much. My name is Mike Criotti. I am one of the founders of Novo Pangea. If you are not aware of us, right now we are a community-driven multiplayer economy strategy game. And what that means is we encourage and designed it so our community needs to work together to gain the most success. And it is built so players of all different styles, whether that is how much time they can dedicate to it, how much they want to put into the game, can find their own path to help out their district in their realm. So right now that's live, and great feedback, and we're looking forward to doing our PvP release later this year. We just released creatures packs a couple weeks ago in the creature loop on Monday, and so far it's been very, very positive.
Awesome. Yeah, I like seeing all the different kind of creatures coming through and getting posted to Twitter. So it sounds like you've got PvP coming up, and then the creatures was like the last big drop. Do you want to share a little bit more about creatures and what they're bringing to the Nova Pangea lineup?
So our lore is it's really big with us, and we released our story cards. We released some of our main creatures and their abilities when they have to battle and part of the lore. And we'll be releasing more newer creatures as we develop the lore too. But right now, from a gaming mechanic, and we built it so it would be generous with the rewards, as well as an easy way to onboard new users and get new to our our current players. Is that all you have to do is get a creature, you send him into the wild to scavenge for in-game resources, and then next week we'll be releasing, they can even come back with different NFTs. We'll be putting all different sorts of NFTs in there, from our story cards to even one of our mythics, which you can't find secondary, as well as different skill workers and game assets. So it should be a lot of fun to do it. One thing that we did with our creatures, though, we limited the amount of spots each player can actually use and send to the wild, and this was to protect the entire ecosystem and the community from from whales buying up all the creatures and sending an unlimited amount, to kind of keep the enjoyment throughout the whole player base.
Awesome. My next question is gonna be what about your project is unique? But you mentioned something just a moment ago I wanted to ask more about. It's economy game and the players together aspect filter in or play in.
Can you repeat that? Kind of lost you for a second.
No worries. I was just saying, how does you mentioned that it's a kind of a community-based economy game, and the community players need to work together, to get what they need done. How does the working together, how does that play in?
Yeah, so on our world Nova Pangea, we really built a whole world. We have built 6 different realms, which is 6 different species basically of characters, all unique art. Each realm is designed by a different artist, and each realm has 11 different districts and 22 plots of land. So each player picks a home district, even though they can play in multiple districts in multiple realms, but they each have a home district. And the NFTs that we have are, the traditional stuff. We have land, we have buildings, we have skilled workers, and besides the creatures, and we look at it like real world economics, right? So basically, a landowner, can rent their land to a business owner, right? A business owner can then, employ workers. So the analogy I always use is, say I own a pencil factory, right? I would hire workers to make pencils. I will pay the workers a wage, and then the pencils I will then go sell on the, what we call in our exchange for, more cash, and that's the real world mechanics. So you can either play and you can buy every single NFT, the entire game loop, and you can have multiple of them, and you can keep on just earning it all yourself. Or you can just have skilled workers and put them in somebody else's buildings. Or you can rent your land to somebody else who just has a building. Or you can have a building and rent somebody else's land. Or play hybrid. A lot of people definitely play hybrid approach, and the community controls the wages of the rents and of paying the skilled workers. So you can actually, like real world, finding a job, who's going to pay more, who's going to pay less, so it's a lot of fun. And we have a lot of players, especially great for new players. They will just get some skilled workers, or we even release unskilled workers, and they can just put them in other people's buildings and earn. And we have different gaming groups that are working together, and they just okay, I have residential buildings for the whole community to rest in. I have jobs available here, and they're just working together to help each other grow. And as the game evolves, we'll be adding more district events and a tax layer for the district, so you can unlock even more additional game features. Because right now, each district has its own town hall, and you have to stake a token to that town hall to unlock in-game features. And you have to do it as a community. Even if you're a whale, it's gonna be a pain to reach the number you need to do to level up your town hall. That's why it's best to find a district that you have, a group of people working together to succeed.
Damn. So it sounds like it's you're spoiled for choice if you're going to be playing Nova Pangea. There's all sorts of different options.
Yes, you are, and that's one of the I think one of the pain points when new users come to our streams to learn more, our discords. They're like, okay, what do I do next? Like, what do I do? How do I do? And we give them, the best we can. We kind of let them understand there's different paths you can take. And it's really up to them to choose how they want to play it. So there's not like one right answer, and there's not a wrong answer. So it's definitely choice, and there's a whole bunch of different strategies. But our community is absolutely amazing. So if you just join our Discord, you have so many people just giving you their points of views and on how to play. And to be honest, you have such great community members. Like they were even, as well as myself and Franklin, give extra NFTs to people who are trying out the game, just to give us feedback and get going.
Yeah, I think it's good to be able to provide a little bit of direction for new people. For myself, you can definitely get information. I definitely get information overload on some things, and then I'll check back. You always have that people who are going to check back later, but then maybe they forget. So having that available for new people, definitely exciting. Definitely a good option, I think. All right, so where is the primary place for anyone who's new? I think you mentioned Discord, you mentioned videos. What's the best place for someone who's new to learn more or to get involved?
Discord is by far the best. Like I'm too much obsessed with it, so I'm always in there, as well as a great community manager. We do streams a couple times a week, and if you join our stream, just ask. You can ask so many questions there, and I'll always, or Frank will always answer them for you. Also, if you sign up for our newsletters, we send quite a bit of emails out there to keep everybody in the loops, as well as different types of specials. and stuff. But yeah, because we do have a lot of exciting things coming up. You know, we like I said, the lore is huge, and our art. You know, I think our artwork is very very, very good. So we're actually developing new characters for PvP. So each of the 6 realms are going to have 2 new characters. So that's going to be 12 new characters. We even have a character designed after one of our community members, because our first pack release, we had a card of creation, and we had 4 of them in the packs, and he was able to negotiate a deal with somebody else in the community on secondary, and he turned it in. So we drew his likeness in the game. So his character came out badass. And you know, I saw 2 new characters last night, and I shared them on our stream, and I was blown away. I've always loved the characters that our team has done, but these last 2 ones I've seen has my personal opinions is my favorite, and especially the Shadow Realm character. I think that right there is just going to be, it's going to knock everybody's socks off. I'm so excited for that to be released.
Is the Shadow Realm your favorite realm?
No, I'm actually the Light Realm, the complete opposite. But I think my wife's Shadow Realm, but I'm Light Realm. But I think the Shadow Realm art, because we have a different artists from each realm, and our art team's from Bogota, Colombia, and they all have their own comic books out there. And so you know, the different style, but our lead artist, I've known him for about, it's my very, very first job. We work at the agencies together. He does a great job making sure everything's cohesive, and it works well together. But you could tell each style of the artist within the realm, and that Shadow Realm to me, it's just it's creepy. It is beautiful in my eyes.
Mike, thanks so much for joining, sharing about Nova Pangea, sharing what's next. Very cool. Remember, if you're listening below and you want to learn more, Discord is the place to go, or streams, and you can ask Franklin directly.
Thank you.
All right, everybody listening below, let's take a quick pause for any questions from the audience. If you have a question about Pixagon or a question about Nova Pangea, would you please go ahead and raise your hands up, and I'll bring you up to ask the questions. Let's pause here for a second for people to raise their hand, find their phone, hit the button. And if you're shy, don't worry, we'll have another spot for a question and answer session after the next 2 guests here in just a moment. 5 seconds, last call. Raise your hands. All right, let's move it on. Kristalla, do you mind going next?
No, I'm here.
Welcome, Kristalla. You're someone who I'm always pleased and excited to talk to when it comes to RadaQuest or the other streaming stuff you're doing. Would you please go ahead and introduce yourself and give us a little bit about the project, about RadaQuest?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, and thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So, I'm Kristalla. I'm from RadaQuest. RadaQuest is a game, and also I'm a community content creator. So I stream and all that. I create contests, videos, and I do a lot of stuff. But related to RadaQuest, I'm the community manager and also on the marketing team. So there is a lot of work all the time. If you don't know about RadaQuest, I can give you some quick stuff. So I don't know if you had the question, or I can start talking about the game. You tell me.
Yeah. So RadaQuest is a trading card game, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
How long has it been around? Because I think if I remember correctly, RadaQuest has been around for a good clip of time already.
Yeah, so yeah, RadaQuest has been here for a lot of time, but in the development, we have been having developing phases. So in the first phase, we released some in-game art, in awesome art from such a good artist. So this is something really, really, really important. All the art in the game is made by artists. So that's give a lot of value to every card that you have. So in the first place, we release the game art. Those cards are not the cards that you use on the game, but they are cards that will give you some benefits inside the game, and it's really really important to have them. And we release over like 1 year, something like that, the game cards, and we start to release the game so people can start playing with you need to build your empire, gather resources, boost your cards, and fight with other players, and you need to build your own deck. So that's pretty important. Yeah.
What can you share a little bit, like what is the what's coming up next for RadiQuest? I know you've been building, obviously the game's been around for quite a while. Often I see, usually from you and a couple other in the community posts, like it's declaring victory over other people. Can you share maybe like how does the PvP work, and then what's the next big update or the last major milestone for RadiQuest?
So that part was really 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 fun. We made like inside stuff that you can share your victory of the day on Twitter, and you can win some medals for share your victory of the day. That's that's quite something that I see that other games don't have yet, but it's quite fun for us because people can share and like be proud. You can be proud that you won your victory of the day and share it on Twitter. And the PvP works that way. We had a big tournament that is called the Coliseo. And that tournament is divided in 3 rounds. Each round is last like a week, something like that. And then you had like 3 or 4 days on rest, recover some energy, and make be better with your improve your deck, and then the other round starts. And when you go to the game, you can go inside the Coliseo and start fighting. So you had a lot of resources there. You need stamina to keep fighting. There is a lot of stuff, quite fun on the game. But the main goal is to build your deck and fight with another players in the arena, in the Coliseo, to win awesome rewards, and also to get some points to live it up on the ranking. And we had some like categories. We had diamond category, gold, silver, iron, and citizen. So people are divided in those categories, and when they fight, they win points, and those points help them to climb up in the rankings. And yeah, that's how the PvP works. You had 10 cards, 5 for attack, 5 for defense, and you gain bonuses if you had all the cards on the same fraction, because we had light and we had shadow. We had some bonuses. And for playing mini games, there is a lot of stuff, but it's quite fun, as you can see on those victory of the day that we share on Twitter.
Yeah.
And
Oh. Go
yeah,
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
and yeah, and for the last stuff that I forgot, we will release soon the guild part, so people can have their own clans and get their friends. You will need to grab your friends, make your guild, and start making some special quests and special shops that will be released only for guild members. So that is our next big feature that we are gonna release, and we are really working hard on that, because it's gonna be a major update.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting. Adding the guild feature, so that kind of your communities can kind of break up and start battling with each other. That sounds very cool. You mentioned mini games. Are those? Do you have? Is that part of like? I swear I saw something that said daily quest. Is that something that is implemented in RadiQuest?
Oh yeah. So we have mini games inside our game, because in the meantime that you wait that your resources to gather your resources and all that, you can play mini games. We had a mini game right now that is like Candy Crush stuff, and you go in the tavern and you play the mini game and the Candy Crush stuff, and then you win stuff in our weekly tournament. We had the big tournament that is the Coliseo, and we also had every week the mini game tournament, and then you can win packs, you can win resources and all that. And the daily quest stuff is there are quests that you can do every day, and those quests will give you points so you can in the month, so you have 1 month to get all those daily quests, and you will win some packs and some rewards. So the daily quest is are stuff that you can make every day, so like just win 10 battles on the Coliseo. You win 10 battles and you will have your daily quest mark on green. You can make 100 points on the mini game, and you can like burn two cars and something like that. We have like a little tax, little daily tax. So in this way, we had our players making stuff every day, going every day to the game to see what they can do, and have them inside the game coming back every day.
It sounds like RadaQuest is designed almost for people who want to come in and play something every day, or even for people who want to come in and maybe mess around once a week. That's what it sounds like to me, and I think that's pretty versatile.
Yeah, we had like a stuff that for every type of player. We want to build something that people can really enjoy, and not just like, oh, I had to go to the game and just make click. No, if you want to play mini games, only mini games, you can go and play mini games. If you want to have your farm, you can gather your resources. And if you want, and if you're really good playing on the Coliseo, so you can go to Coliseo, or you can only make daily tags. So there is something for every type of player.
So I think you've answered all of the questions I have. So the last one I'll give to you is, where is the primary place for new players, old players? What's the best place to go if they want to see all the information about what's coming up next, what's going on in RadaQuest?
So the best place is to join our Discord, of course. We have there like a little sneak peek channel that you can see in live every day, new stuff that we are developer, and also we have events every week. We share a lot of info there, and also our primary social media is ads or Twitter, what you want to call. We make every day new posts. We try to make people learn more about the game, because we know there is a lot of stuff. If you're new, it can be a little overwhelming. So yeah, so join our Discord and follow us on X.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Cristala, for joining today and sharing about RadaQuest. Please stick around if you can for our next break for the AMA.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Next up, let me invite Josh up to the stage. You're already up here on the stage. I'm used to inviting people up right up. Erd Hall, come on over.
Thank you. I'm Josh Erdhall Cantrell with Metasource Games, and I'm here representing Starship Beyond.
Sorry, it's muted. Perfect. Thank you for introducing yourself. What is your relation to the project? Are you the community manager? Are you the main developer? And would you give us can you describe Starship Beyond in 30 seconds?
Absolutely. So I'm the creator and developer behind the project. Starship Beyond is a social action RPG with massively multiplayer elements. You're a member of a spaceship called the Beyond, which travels to a new planet every month. You're tasked with going down to the surface of these planets, gathering supplies for the ship, by collecting things, as well as fighting enemies and bosses. Gameplay sessions are quick-paced hack and slash levels with top-down gameplay. Think like Zelda: Link to the Past on Super Nintendo and similar. We do have that retro style. You defeat the final boss of the mission to return to the ship with all your loot. But if you're defeated during the mission, you lose anything you collected during that run.
So it sounds like you need to work on your sick micro skills to be able to master the Starship Beyond. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's definitely designed to just be just a lot of fun and quick and simple. But it is also, I just to make it clear, it does play on PC, but it is primarily designed as a mobile game for Android and iOS.
Awesome. And then, so what is tell us about the next big update for your project, or the last major milestone. I think it's next big update for Starships. Am I correct?
So actually, we did already release it. Right now, our founders are the only ones who are able to play. And we do actually have a Wax Ambassador campaign that's coming up soon. So if you're a content creator, stay tuned. You'll hear about that pretty soon. But just a couple of days ago, we released our second major alpha build for founders, which offers a hugely improved PC user experience with hotkeys and other improvements. We reintroduced bosses to our gameplay loop. We added additional randomization elements in our levels. We increased the field of view for all platforms. Our founders group is pretty small, but they're having a lot of fun already. We already have multiplayer, and so that was the last thing that we added in this last build is a region selector, because you do have to be playing in the same region in order to connect with multiplayer. But now, no matter where you live, you can override your region with our selector if you'd like to.
Multiplayer for a quick game like this sounds really intriguing. Does everyone rush into the same map, or is there like an accounting for multiple players to increase the difficulty, kind of like how Diablo works, where if there's more people, the monsters gets tougher?
So yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of those things are very much a work in progress still. We're very early alpha right now, just founders only, pretty small testing group. But that's definitely the plan right now. What happens is if you have multiplayers, it just increases the amount of monsters. So if you've got 2 or 3 players playing together, there'll just be a lot more enemies to fight. Which can be pretty overwhelming if you run away from the group and don't stay together. You can get swarmed pretty easily, so be careful. But in the future, yeah, there will be some scaling, increased boss health, enemy health, a little bit of damage, things like that. That's definitely a part of the plan.
Very cool. I'm excited to hear that it's not just the same thing with more people, but there is an increase in monsters, and that's, like I said, like that's fun, kind of how it's dynamic there. What about your project that you're building right now is unique, or that it does better than any other project out there? Or what's like, what are you driving at hardest?
Yeah, so Starship Beyond is a fun hack and slash action RPG, which on Wax is fairly unique in and of itself. It has a lot of the elements that you're going to expect from the genre, randomized enemies, levels, gear crafting, bosses. But the real thing that makes us very unique, even across action RPGs just in general, is our unique planetary seasons and the social elements that go along with them. Every month in a game is a new season where the ship travels to a new planet. The new planet will feature different landscapes, different enemies, and of course, modifiers that players will have to deal with, alongside, of course, unique loot. Just a quick example of modifiers, there might be a global modifier, all enemies move 20% faster, or maybe a global modifier where all players move 20% slower. Things that you'll have to deal with, maybe a toxic environment where players very slowly drain health. It's going to be lots of different things that you'll have to deal with in these sessions that really will be very interesting. The other thing about these unique planets is the unique loot that I mentioned earlier will allow you to craft time-limited gear and consumables that are only available during that month. Players also have a really cool agency. I kind of mentioned that the social elements. Players actually get to influence where the ship travels next. Towards the end of the month, the ship navigation will automatically find 3 suitable planet candidates, and players will be able to see those 3 options. They'll be able to see a little bit of information, and they'll be able to see the global modifier for the planet, or multiple modifiers potentially. And players will be able to directly vote on one of those 3 options. And of course, they have social methods to influence other real players to vote for the planets that they want. Especially helpful for guilds, friend groups to work together, say, hey, we really like this modifier. We don't think this is going to be a problem. Let's do this one together. And influence other people, try and get in Discord, other Discords, say, hey, everybody vote for this one. This is the one we want. And then, of course, for solo players and groups, you also have the ability to spend in-game currency to potentially sway the votes of the non-player characters living aboard the ship also.
That's really neat. The main thing I like, other than like the voting stuff, like I really zeroed in on was every month is a new season, and every new season brings new challenges. To me, that sounds like a really fun way to help keep things fresh and provide different experiences throughout the year, so you don't have people just getting bored of the same maps and the same battles.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a big factor for us. We wanted to make sure, that the gameplay was always fresh. It's a hack and slash. So, you're going to run and you're going to fight monsters and you're going to collect loot. That stuff is that's pretty static. But the environments that you're in and the modifiers and the enemies will always make it so that your strategy has to be at least a little bit dynamic in order to deal with those situations.
Exciting. I'm excited to try it out. I want to ask, I'm going to ask what's next in a minute, and I'm going to ask if there's a date yet for when you're opening up the betas. But first, where is the primary place for everyone who wants to learn more or maybe get involved or just be ready? Where's the best place to get all the info about Starships Beyond?
So definitely Discord, and this is a pretty common one, right? Everybody's says go to my Discord. That's probably the best place. We also, easiest place to connect with us. Just go to our website, starshipbeyond.io. You can find our Twitter link there. You can find our Discord link there. There's even an ability to directly interact with our Discord straight through that. So that's really nice. And then while you're on the website, make sure you sign up for our newsletter too, because if you're not necessarily as big in Discord, we do push newsletters every so often, every couple of weeks. It's not super frequent, but we do push those out so that people can stay connected that way.
Perfect. And then, like I said, what's next for Starship Beyond? Do you have, if you can mention it, do you have a target date or maybe a target couple of dates you want to open this up to everyone?
So for the time being, we're keeping our testing group fairly small. We want to make sure that we're rewarding the players who are supporting us with access. It's definitely going to be free to play when we release. And so you can definitely expect us to, even before we're fully released, we'll have maybe an open week where people can come in and fiddle with the game. But there's definitely going to be new videos from content creators coming soon. And we also will have a new drop for founders. Right now it's closed. But we will have some new drops. We are going to be multi-chain, so we will have both Wax and Polygon available in this next drop. And so if you want to become a founder, you want to influence the early builds of the game with your feedback and help us test it. And that's going to be available very soon within the next couple of weeks.
Very excited. It seems like, I don't know, maybe it seemed like there was, not as much activity. Everyone was on vacation the last couple of weeks, and now everything is hitting hard at the end of this month and going into September. I'm really excited for next month. So many things seem to be coming together. Josh, thank you so much for joining and participating with us today. Let me go ahead and pause here for a moment and let anyone below, if you have any questions for about RadaQuest or about Starships Beyond, please go ahead and raise your hand. Or if you've got a question about Pixiegon or Nova Pangea, something we spoke about earlier, please go ahead and raise your hand. Let's take a short, quick break here. Looking for hands raised. All right, that's it. I don't see any hands raised up. Let's go on to our next duo of guests. We'll be hearing from first NFT Drafts and then Terraformers Many Worlds. So first off, NFT Draft, welcome to the space. Would you please introduce yourself, the name of the project, and then what is your relation to the project?
Hi, thank you for having me on. And hello, fellow Wax people. It's my first Wax Twitter space. I've been pretty active in the ETH with Twitter spaces lately, so it's fun to be on a Wax Twitter space. And if anybody out there has a moment, you can just go down and press that button on the bottom right and share the Twitter space so we can kind of grow these numbers. We got a lot of great projects here, and a lot of great people here. And we got 33 viewers and 9 retweets, so we can get some more viewers in here and get people listening to what we're doing and get the algorithm excited. I'm a drafter, and I am the community moderator at NFT Draft and the marketing manager and game architect to design the game for NFT Draft. We have a pretty hefty corporate arm behind us with people from Sky High Capital. They're building this business foundation behind us and beneath us. And oddly enough, they are not real. They're not into the, what I would consider the main vein of the project, which is Discord and Twitter. They're building a company, they're building brands and helping us grow. And we also have Josh Aradal, who just spoke, and we work with Josh. They're our development team, and I can tell you that his game's going to be fun to play. There's no doubt. He's a brilliant person when it comes to creating joy and entertainment from games. I mean, the things he's brought to NFT Draft, which is a brilliant game in itself, has been invaluable and very helpful to making things smooth for users. So I know his game will be fun. And Nova Pangea, I'm familiar with them and love their art, love that community. So there's a lot of great things going on in Wax, and we hope to be something big and prominent in the space as the months trek on.
Thank you for that introduction and for a little bit of the background. Would you give us a quick elevator pitch about NFT Draft?
Sure. NFT Draft is fantasy football using NFTs. We were the first project to ever do that. We have a couple of different things that separate us. I know you'll get that question. I will answer more in depth to that, but it's something to protect our cards, players from injuries. And the thing about NFT Draft that's appealing to Wax players, it's very easy to play. We have an auto team creator, so you can come in, you can just click team create, it builds your team for you using the best cards. And we had some people win some pretty significant Wax this week just using that system. So again, you don't have to know football, you can just click buttons and do good and enjoy what we're doing. We have basically 3 ways to play, which is you buy a pack, you play, you keep all of your money, you keep all of your NFTs. You can buy a pack, you can rent out your cards, and that's this major feature that we're releasing this year. So you can rent out your cards, and then anybody who uses your cards, you receive 60% of any money they win. And then the third way to play is you can just come and access our free pool. You don't need cards, you don't need Wax, you just show up, you hit team builder, it makes you the best team, you have access to every single card in our deck, so you have a fair playing field, actually a superior playing field to most cases. And then you keep 35% of anything you win plus all the NFTs you win. So that's our game, fantasy football, tournaments, weekly cash prizes, and we hope to, we just love Wax and the projects that we work with here, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Now, I'm probably going to annoy or give too much information about myself here. For someone who doesn't know anything about American football, do I need to know anything about American football to play and participate in the Fantasy League?
No, absolutely not. I mean, our game that we're releasing now is called Daily Fantasy, and that means that every week it's a new tournament. We have dynamic APIs. We've connected to the largest supplier of sports data in the world, and so we get live feeds from all the projections from all the professionals who think, these players are going to do that, these players are going to do that, this team matched up against that one. So we have access to all the professionals who break it down. We've streamlined that into our application, and it just runs in the back end. So you don't have to know any of that or listen to them at all. You just click a button and it reads our cards, which have, rarities, have scoring bonuses. There's card costs for different seasons. So like one card could be advantageous over the exact same card from a different season, but you don't have to know any of that. You just come in, you click team create. Our builder will take that data stream that we have coming in, and it'll connect it with our game design with the rarities and scoring bonus and scoring detriments, and then it will build your best team for you. And all you do is hit, auto create, enter, done. I mean, we're making a video for how to play, and we were laughing because it's 12 seconds. It'd be 12 seconds long. It will be 12 seconds long when we're completed with it. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Like, here's how to play, and it's over.
There's something definitely to be said for short and sweet. I'll say that right now. Everything doesn't have to have a long how to or how to get started and stuff like that. So I think short and sweet is definitely one way to go. Share with me a little bit, if you haven't already covered it, I'm sorry, about the next big update or the last major milestone. I expect with the new season starting soon, that's the new update will be somewhere sourced around that.
Yeah, I think the major accomplishments and milestones. Again, we've been on Wax for over 2 years. We started January 1st, 2021. So we've been here 2.5 years on Wax. We've spent about $700,000 in development, but we just weren't able to find the right team the first year. They were very talented. The blockchain was too complex, and the game didn't function correctly. We had a little more problems the second year, and things were sad. We were sad. I wasn't. I thought everything's going fine, but we were low on money, and we still had this dream, and we still had this great concept, and other places were rocking, and we weren't. And then we found Josh and his team, and they just come in like maestros, Wax experts. They built us a game that's even superior to anything I ever envisioned, which was already the best fantasy football game in the world, and it is, and we will prove that easily over the next coming years, not days, but over the next few years. The world will start to see how superior our game is in about 7 or 8 small, minor, but significant ways. So again, that was our major accomplishment, was finding funding with an investment fund, Sky High Capital. They gave us $368,000 to complete the game. That's done. Now we get another round of funding. More than that, it starts at the beginning of 2024 to add more features, to add another major game onto Wax. And again, they're back there behind the wheel, behind the curtain, doing their big boy corporate things, making friends, partnerships, collaborations, and all of that's going to start splashing after we release the game, which is 8 days away, September 6th. Again, the game functions. We just had a successful preseason. I think we handed out 35,000 Wax for free to play. Our prize pool is already over 200,000 Wax. I think it was 205,000 Wax last time I looked. And again, we're going to add $5,000 worth of Wax to that prize pool in a short time. So the prize pool is going to be major. It's free to play, and we're going to release all of that this week. Week 1 and week 2, everything will be all of our features will be out. Everything's either completed now or on the test net.
That sounds exciting. Where is the, I think you already kind of answered what is unique about NFT Drafter. You've been here for a long time. You've been building for a minute. You said you're the first to do fantasy football with NFTs. Where is the primary place for people to learn more about the game, what you've got coming next, and what's going on with all things NFT Draft?
Yeah, thank you. But I'll just touch on what makes us different, because I did throw a bunch out there, but there's still more. Again, fantasy football is a great industry. It's $2 billion a year. There's only 2 companies that do it. They're doing $1 million a day in secondary market sales on NFTs right now. And we have a better game than theirs. Main reasons are the barrier to entry. If you want to play their game, you're going to spend $3,000. Ours, you can come in and spend $30 to $50 or zero. That's another thing. That's another milestone. No one has to spend any money. In fact, the only thing we're really worried about is the amount of interest we're getting in the free pool. We have not marketed. It hasn't been publicly marketed to that people can come and play for free. I mean, I'm doing it today. I've done it on a few, very small Twitter spaces, but we were already getting, last week was about 50 people every day joining our Discord. This week we're up to about 100, 150 people every day joining our Discord. They're all asking about the free pool. They're all asking about the scholarship program. So the only thing we're really worried about is not having enough cards in there. We need people to buy packs, throw cards in the pool to earn that 60% rental fee from what they have. But the main thing that differentiates us is a thing we call next man up. So if you play fantasy sports, you get a player like Patrick Mahomes. He's a great quarterback, and you have him on your team, and you're very excited. And if you play a different game, you probably paid $800 to get that card, and you count on it to do a lot for you. Well, with our system, it's called Kansas City Quarterback 1. Now, in our application, when you hover over the card, it will flip over and show you Patrick Mahomes' face and his name, so you know who the card is synced to. But if Patrick Mahomes, heaven forbid, because I love him and the Chiefs, if he was injured, then on everywhere else you kind of just you're SOL. You're in a lot of trouble. That card has no value. You can't do anything with it. In our game, because of next man up system, it's Kansas City Quarterback 1. So the next week, whoever starts at quarterback for Kansas City will sync with our card. Again, that's all through that streamlined data source. And then that card will still have value. You can still play it all year and into the years into the future. It's another quick point too, is our cards have multi-year use. We obviously have blending thanks to Wax. So many things happen because of Wax, and we're really excited to grow the chain. I've personally onboarded 700 people in the past 60 days that were ETH holders, and they're all have their eye on an NFT draft, and I think we're gonna keep that train rolling and keep getting hundreds of people every single week to join Wax and be a part of what we're doing.
This is pretty exciting, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not familiar with fantasy football. I've only played literally fantasy Counter-Strike or Dota. If you have a card for a specific player and they go on the DL, they are out. That's it. You're done, right? You kind of have to have a backup quarterback, right? With the NFT draft, the way you've designed it, you don't need to worry about who's disabled, right? Don't forget to unmute.
Sorry, yeah, no, I just, again, seeing the phone screen went dark, so I had to find it. I'm not standing outside, so the beautiful, beautiful blue skies and the sun. But yeah, definitely, that is the main feature. Again, like, we don't want people to get overwhelmed. You don't have to. You can come in, you click 3 buttons, and you're entered. In fact, again, we had a new player last week. He came in, made one team, and he came in 11th place, which was 255 wax. And again, our prize pool already will be 4 times that all season long. So he made one team, probably took him 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and he, got 250 wax. So I'm sure he's pretty happy. And we want to keep it simple, but then, yeah, the depth and strategy for the serious players that want to come in, and then also for the investor, the person who wants to spend. Again, we have had a card sell for $750, but just the other day, somebody bought three people bought cards for over $120. And with our system, they can do that with a little bit of comfort and protection, because if the player who they have there gets hurt, they're not totally out. And in fact, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of Tom Brady, but the history of Tom Brady is he was a backup that wasn't intended to play at all behind a quarterback named Drew Bledsoe, who most people have never heard of, because Drew Bledsoe got a small injury. He was out a few weeks. Brady came in, and his magic was just undeniable. So lots of times when your player gets injured, you're going to have more value from that sleeper who comes in and changes the world. So it's a really exciting concept. There's, again, 8 to 15 different things like that make our game better, and we're already in a massive industry that's only has one person. There's just one big dog in there, and they don't care about regular. Well, not that they don't. Maybe they do. Maybe they're humanitarians. But they price stuff out to where you can't play unless you got big deep pockets. And we hope to combat that with the exact opposite. Open our floodgates to every single person in the world and come play and enjoy what it's like to strategize and compete every week in a friendly environment, and one of the most fun games ever designed.
Well said. Well said. The last question here I'll have is just what's next? I think you definitely laid it out for us, but is there anything else you want to mention before we invite Terraformers Many Worlds up to share?
No, I think I covered everything. I mean, anyone who joins the Discord from now until September 6th gets a free pack. So if you want, you can find our Discord is /NFT draft. Come in there, open a ticket. We'll give you a pack, and just be ready for the season. I mean, come in, check us out, play for free. If you're someone who likes staking for rewards, I mean, we have a pretty great reward staking system. You stake your cards, they go up in value, hopefully, and you're getting 60% of any money won by this horde of free players that we have raining down on us every day, and we want to feed them. You know, we want to feed the horde, and we need community support for that. Because again, I'd like to just give them cards because it's great for us, but it defeats the design of the game and the whole community aspect of it. So we hope to see a lot of Wax people in there enjoying this and really having success alongside us because of the game's design.
Beautiful. I'm excited, especially with all the changes coming up after the holiday weekend and starting next week. Very cool. Thanks for joining us. All right. Terraformers Many Worlds. Here is a collection that I've heard mentioned many times, but never dug my face into. And then I had the pleasure of being able to speak with T-Break directly, and they gave me kind of the lowdown. So T-Break, welcome to our space. Will you please introduce yourself, introduce the name of your project, and give us a little bit of relation of what you do at Terraformers Many Worlds? Thank you.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. I got a little bit of a cough, so if I mute my mic, I'm just clearing my throat. But hey, my name's Kaz. Hope everyone's doing well today. Most of you know me as T-Break, and I'm the creative behind Terraformers Many Worlds. It's right now, I mean, it's a one-man project. So I pretty much do everything. I do smart contract development, I do front-end development, 3D environment dev, make the AI art, do the game design, tokenomics, marketing, community management, the whole wrap.
Perfect. And then can you give us, what's your elevator pitch for Terraformers Many Worlds?
At its core, TFMW is a futuristic sci-fi fantasy play-to-earn metaverse. It's going to be a lifelong endeavor for me. I've been building it, day and night, putting in my 80 to 100-hour weeks for the past 2 years, and I've got no plans on stopping anytime soon. It's designed to receive continuous expansions in the form of new content and new blockchain technology as I develop it. The many worlds aspect of the project, it comes from the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. Our universe as we know it, it's a 4-dimensional structure, 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time. According to the MWI, our universe is actually a 5-dimensional structure, with the 5th dimension being another dimension of time, being like, the probabilistic branches of time, right? It's like the differences, right? So the current focus of this project, well, I guess the ultimate focus is to create a 100% on-chain 5-dimensional game that's able to simulate and incorporate the many worlds interpretation as a core gameplay loop. In pursuit of building such a game, I've broken it up into 3 phases because I mean it's a big pill to swallow, doing it all in one. And right now we're in the public alpha, which is called TFMW Origins. Origins is somewhat of a new genre. It's fundamentally like a bit of a new thing. It's somewhere in between chess and an RPG dungeon crawler with itemization that's heavily inspired by games like Diablo and Path of Exile. As it stands, Origins is already arguably the most advanced smart contract that's literally like ever been deployed on any blockchain. It's got on-chain procedural world generation and a complete RPG game engine, over 400 variables influencing the gameplay, character stats. I mean, it's pretty loaded. The smart contract reads the data from the NFTs by passing them through 11-dimensional objects. It I definitely melted my mind a little bit the past few weeks putting that together. But I mean, it's playable. It's here. You can free to play. It doesn't cost anything other than blockchain resources to try it out. I will just preface what I'm saying here. You're gonna look at the landing page, not much of a landing page. You're gonna look at the docs, not much documentation at all, right? The reason for that is because I genuinely do not know the best way to convey all of this information and this whole thing to people, right? So make sure to join the Discord, make sure to ask questions, because there is nothing intuitive about anything that I'm building here, right? So don't think it's on you if you can't figure out like this very abstract game, right?
Awesome. I was not expecting that last line about the website. I was going to ask. You mentioned that you wanted to build this game like wholly on chain. Do you run into issues with all of the actions being on chain like that?
Yeah, you do. There's so the thing is, there's a lot of little secrets. You know, it's like sort of how in ancient times when like the Romans had the aqueducts, and then the people who maintained the aqueducts, well, they died, and then no one knew how to fix or maintain the aqueducts anymore. It's kind of like the same thing, except the Romans in this case are block one. There's like things within Antelope, limitations that are like almost no one ever reaches them because no one's trying to do something like this. And it's like you can't Google it. I've talked to many wizards in the Antelope Telegram. They do not know how to deal with this. You know, like and like the big thing is that you can only fit so many for loops, so much functionality within one action, but you can pretty much load a contract up with as much, you know, data and stuff as possible. But it all depends on the structure, you know. But it's definitely not easy. It forces you to, because it's such a massive constraint trying to fit all this data on chain. But it forces you to come up with solutions, and it makes you a better programmer ultimately. At least I think.
Yeah, I think adversity definitely is something on which we grind ourselves to become sharper and better. Let me ask you, what about your project is unique?
It's got 250 fungible tokens. I can say that. It's got a new asset standard that I'm developing, or two new asset standards I'm developing. I started working on them literally on like the 1st of August and launched them last week. We got over, I think, almost 1,300 NFTs have been found, you know, for free from people playing the game since just about like 10 days ago. It's the game's definitely a bit of a head scratcher, but you know, I look at like the Web3 space, and it's like there's a lot of bright people here, man. Like I know there's like a lot of like the consensus, like, oh, you know, like aping into projects and all that, and all like I don't care how many crayons you ate as a child, man. You're in Web3 in the bear, like you're probably pretty bright, and it's like for bright people, you need something that's engaging. You need something that's like stimulating, right? Something complex, something to wrap your head around. And I'm trying to provide that, right? Like, it's like, is the game complex? Is it a lot to take in? Sure. But it's like, there's no rush, you know, we're just here to have fun, have a good time, explore this technology. You know, everyone thinks that we know what we can do with blockchain tech. It's like, we are all on Tutorial Island. We're surrounded by uncharted waters, right? There is so much that's going to exist in the future. Like we don't even have, like most people don't even have the slightest clue of just how powerful this technology can really be.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. One thing that you really stuck out just now, you said you brought up asset standards. You designed these asset standards especially for TFMW. What was the goal with, or what was the need that you were solving in creating your own asset standards here for your game? Does it? I'm trying to think. Does it make the, or does it? Shit. Does it grease the transactions when you're sending them to the chain so you can fit more in?
That is part of it. So one of the asset standards is it's called Elements Plus. It's designed to be like the ultimate fungible token standard for games, particularly, right? So if you have like a game that's got like let's say you have a bunch of like little minerals, you know, little things like sticks and stones, wood, rock, whatever, you know, things that you just want players to be able to get a whole bunch of, right? I think the general term for it is bubblegum currency, right? Where it's like it's supposed to be like this thing that you're incrementally gathering, but it's not supposed to be something that like you because with every token you got to all of a sudden create like liquidity swaps and you know just providing liquidity as a whole. And then it's like, well, if you got like 25 tokens, I mean, even 25, it's like that's so many swaps, man. Like that's just a lot, right? So, and there's also the problem with like spending tokens as you know, as it exists under like a EOSIO dot token contract. You can only transfer one token per action in a transaction, right? And so that becomes unsecure when you want to, let's say, like request a user to transfer like 5 different tokens of of various amounts, right? Unless your smart contracts, designed to handle it. But like there's a lot of CPU costs associated with that. And so what Elements Plus does, well, it's like, well, right now it's already holding 248 fungible tokens, and you're able to transfer like various amounts of all 248 in one action. So not multiple actions, one action and one transaction, and it costs around 4 to 8 milliseconds of CPU. You want to do that with like an EOSIO dot token, it's like we're like well over 100, maybe 200 milliseconds, right? So substantially more efficient, and also it's a part of it is designed to facilitate the trading of such a thing, right? Because if you have, like, let's say you're playing, if you look at your wallet, if you played a bunch of crypto games, you might have like 100 different fungible tokens. Trying to list all of those is a nightmare, right? And so the purpose of this standard is to say, okay, you got all this bubblegum currency, right? You can just put it all together and create it in one listing. And then you can say that, oh, I want to accept, I'd be okay with wax for this. I'd be okay with these other fungible tokens. Maybe I'll be okay with an NFT from this collection under this schema, right? So it's like another, like almost this bartering and multi-listing type, architecture. That's what I'm trying to like envision for this, and another part of it is, going back to like that bubblegum currency. It's like one of the things that I love in like RPG games is when you're just collecting a bunch of loot and you don't know when you're going to use it, but hey, you're collecting it, right? And this is something that's going to enable projects to have that, right? Where people are able to just hoard and get a whole bunch of different stuff, and then one day maybe a craft will come up for that particular thing, and then if you're out of this currency, well, maybe you can use some of that. It's always about like something like like a squirrel bearing its nuts all over a forest. That's kind of like what your wallet's going to be like. Now the other asset standard, Doyena Core, that's like a super advanced NFT standard. It's a self-custodial standard. So essentially any project, like once it's like releasing out of its prototype phase, it will be open source. Same with Elements Plus, like anyone can pick it up for their project. You'll be able to, so you deploy it yourself, on like a wallet of your choice. And you would have like 100% custodial ownership of it. So no one else has a say. No one else. You don't have to like try to get yourself project whitelisted or anything. It'll be exactly as it is on ETH. Where it's like like whatever wallet will deploy an ERC-721 contract, and then it just gets picked up by blockchain scanners, right? So you're not gonna have to worry much about I guess like the secondary and getting eyes and stuff on your projects, that kind of thing, right? And like the reason it's actually like that I built it from scratch as opposed to just trying to use it like atomic assets is because the architecture, because you're limited to how much code can fit in an action for for origins, I needed the architecture to be in like a very linear, like a very particular syntax. I also wanted it to have mutable templates. So I should also say, like Doyena Core, it's got mutable templates. It has on-chain mint numbers, on-chain like template numbers, supply, and all that stuff. And what it can do is it has like clusters of traits that can roll, right? You can define as many different clusters, like let's say like prefixes and suffixes on an item, and you can say that it can roll between like 3 to 6 prefixes, 3 to 6 suffixes, and then each one of these traits behave as a pointer. And the whole prospect of building NFTs this way is that from my perspective, I don't particularly care like what the how you might view the NFT as, like, that's not particularly my concern. My concern is like, who owns this particular NFT and how did it roll? How rare is it? How rare are those traits? And so if you have, like, let's say you have under like cluster 3, you got like trait 4. Today that might be like a radioactive skin on an ape, right? But that's just like for right now, right? If I in the future want to update the art, right, I no longer care that number 4 equals radioactive skin. I care that you rolled like number 4, right? And so I'm able to update number 4. You're able to receive an NFT of, well, an updated NFT of equal rarity. So I'm able to respect the rarity, respect the inherent value at the time of which you acquired the NFT. And I'm still able to update what it is and give you a better, higher quality product. Right. The Diana Core Asset Standard also natively supports socketing NFTs into other NFTs, right? So think about, you got a sword, you might put in a couple of jewels in it. You got a gun, you might put like a magazine in slot 3. You might put a grip in slot 2, right? So this is all like natively supported, and it passes all of those attributes from like each of the other NFTs into the main NFT. And so when you have like a smart contract that's reading that data, it's only doing one call per asset. Let me see.
Let me ask you, so like the next question I want to ask is going to be like, what's the next big update? I think but specifically for the Diana Core, do you have a target release for when that will be ready to go and open source, or will be or where people can see more documentation on how it works?
Not just yet, because when something's in development, things change a lot, and it's like I don't want to be documenting things and getting people learning, like trying to piece together what's happening, and then it's like, oh, it's all changed. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna get a complete product. I might make a Wax Labs proposal. We'll see. But I'm just it's gonna be something that, like, you guys can continue building on atomic assets. There's nothing wrong with atomic assets. In fact, atomic assets might likely serve most projects better. But for particular kinds of projects, and I forgot to mention this, by the way, but like, so Elements Plus, you can wrap. You'll be able to wrap the elements into like an NFT. You can trade that like an atomic asset NFT. You can trade down secondaries, and then you can burn it to receive back the elements. And Diana Core, you can wrap atomic asset NFTs into a Diana Core NFT. You can wrap a Diana Core NFT into an atomic asset NFT. You can do conversions, like one-way conversions and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's like you don't have to worry about missing out when it comes to this technology that I'm talking about. I know it might be kind of exciting, but it's like, just don't worry about it. Just know that like something new is being built for this chain, for everyone to use, and I'm going to try to make it as interoperable and user friendly as possible. I know there are some, because it does require a certain depth of smart contract development knowledge. But I know on Proton, there's a tool that allows you to have a drag and drop smart contract building thing just right out of like React, right out of a front end. So I think if I, do a little bit of magic and try to incorporate that tool, then you would ideally be able to have something where you can define the generation, like very, very complex generation of assets, just with drag and drop, no code. That's like the ultimate goal for Diana Core. But I know you asked for a timeline, but with all things that are research related, it's like you just can't. I might make strides one week, and then I might hit like a critical, like bug that's deep in the bowels of Antelope the next week. So it's very difficult to tell.
Yeah, I 100% can relate to your comment. When you're developing software, you don't want to notate everything because stuff changes and something might change or some new bug rears its head and throws a wrench in what your current development plans are. So yeah, I totally get that. For TFMW though, what is the next update for the game?
The next update is going to be combat for sure. We're going to have on-chain combat, and it's gonna be pretty interesting. The game's like, honestly, like most people, I don't think anyone's ever played or anyone's ever built something like this before, so it's very difficult to describe it. You know, it's kind of like if you've never played an FPS shooter and then someone's trying to describe Call of Duty and they say like, oh, you get a nuke and it's like, it's so sick, you know what I mean? Like, you're just not gonna get it. You got to play the game to understand it. But there's that coming up, and then if everything goes well, I mean, it's gonna be kind of tough to squeeze it in, but trying to get a secondary launched that's going to support, you know, Elements Plus and Doana Core somewhere around the end of September. Yeah, we'll see.
Very exciting. All right, the last question I'll have for you. Where's the primary place for people to learn more about Terraform Many Worlds and see updates for the new features you're bringing to the chain?
The Discord. Come to the Discord. Some tidbits of information on the Twitter, on my Twitter and the Terraformers Twitter. You can find that Twitter and all the links by just clicking my bio. But come to the Discord. That's where all the knowledge is. That's where all the community is. That's where you will find fixes for the bugs. So yeah, there is absolutely nothing intuitive about this project. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. We'd love to have you there.
Perfect. Well spoken, well said. It was great to have you share about TFMW.
Thanks so much for having me here, Tommy.
Absolutely. I was really excited about the ideas of different asset standards too, and how you kind of made this, you could wrap atomic assets into Doana Core and vice versa, so that it's almost, when it's ready, it's not like you're gonna have to relearn a whole new language to be able to utilize it. It all connects together, and I'm excited for that. All right, everybody. These are the guests I had scheduled for today. If anyone below has any questions, or if anyone on stage has questions for any of the other speakers, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll bring you up. We can ask your questions very quickly to TFMW, Cristala Radiquez, Erdal for Starships Beyond, or NFT Draft. Go ahead and raise your hands now. I'll give you a second to get them up. I'm hoping that Twitter's not glitching out and there's just nobody raising their hands. You guys have been very verbose about all of your projects and sharing all of this details. Josh, go ahead.
Cool. I just I thought I'd just give a parting thought since we're wrapping up. First thing I wanted to just say thanks for the kind words from NFT Draft. We are the developers doing the back end and the coding for NFT Draft, and just appreciate the good shout out. So thank you to that. Thank you to all the other speakers. You guys did a great job. We're happy to be a part of Wax and building all this stuff during leaner times, as we all understand. But we're still here and we're all building. So every single one of us deserves some major props for that. And then, of course, just for the last speaker with Terraformers Many Worlds, very interesting. I looked it up. What you're doing is fascinating. You certainly weren't wrong when saying it is not easy to digest. At first glance, it's extremely confusing, but it's fascinating, and I'm always interested to see when people are trying to push the limits.
Yeah, man, would love to have you as a part of the project, man. Absolutely. It's quite the rabbit hole.
I'll reach out afterwards. We can chat.
Yeah, for sure. We're doing some serious bro science over here.
Very cool, guys. We're not all wrapping up just yet. I do want to open it up for anyone who was not I wasn't able to invite directly. I see Pixtally. Hey, shout out to Warrior Lion, 2,000 subs on their YouTube channel. Give them a follow. Congratulations, man. Big milestone. Very happy to see that. And then I also wanted to open up the stage for anyone else who I wasn't able to contact directly and invite to today. I see Consumer Break, Streaming Art, Pixtalgia. Just off the top, if you'd like to come up and share a little bit about your project, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll bring you up. course, Xander, I won't twist your arm if you don't want to come up and speak, though. Promise you that. Okay, everybody, looks like that's going to be it, or Twitter's just being difficult. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. So, once again, we've reached that time, Planet Wax. Let me start, like I said, extend a big thank you to all of our guests who joined and shared their projects today. Pixiegon with Anders and Kuma, Rada Quest by Kristalla, Terraformers Many Worlds by T-Break, Stars Beyond from Outhaul, Novo Pangea for Mike creating, and NFT Draft, who stuck it with you all the way to the end. Thank you for joining and for sharing. It's very exciting to see kind of all this new stuff, that's this little flurry of activity that's happening here at the end of the summer. So I'm definitely excited and here for it. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for taking the time and, you know, sharing with us. Next, let me extend a big, big thank you to all the listeners who joined live for our show today, and as well as those who are listening later. Shout outs to all of you. You know, thank you for participating whenever we have these spaces, and for, you know, participating in the ecosystem. I see a lot of you on Twitter. Not everybody has a project, but a lot of you, you know, I do know. So thanks for coming and supporting. Next week, we have a holiday weekend here in the States, so I will not have a Wax Wednesday space directly from me, but I'm sure it won't take too much searching to find an engaging, informative meetup of like-minded Waxonians here on Twitter, X, and Discord, or even Telegram if you like Telegram. However, I will say every single person up here said come to Discord to learn more, so, you know, I love Discord. That's all I'll say. Next month should hold some exciting developments in the ecosystem, just based off what we all heard today. I have a few spaces lined up then, and so we'll be sharing some news there. So until then, please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other, and I will see you next time. Happy Wax Wednesday. Bye, everybody.
Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.